Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of The Mandalorian Season 3 premiere, Episode 1. We are back in Mando's world. We have experienced the latest with him and Grogu, who are now back together. It happened. Wait, there was a show called The Book of Boba Fett. I was supposed to watch some of that in order to understand.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna get into some of that because there's a lots of people that did watch the Book of Boba Fett, and we had like 2.5, 3 episodes of that. That was the whole them reuniting, and then there's a lot of people that didn't watch it and didn't know what happened, and we're gonna talk about how they didn't explain anything on this premiere for the people who didn't watch. What a mistake. What were you thinking, Disney? Like, I know you guys really wanted Book of Boba Fett to, be this thing and everyone was going to watch, but like, yikes. There's a crossover and then there's that where you just take a whole story in many episodes and put it on another show that not everyone watched.
Here's
Wow.
here's my theory on a lot of this. Book of Boba Fett, not that great. I feel like the producers
It was
realized
okay.
I think they knew like halfway through it needed a spark, so they were just like, "Oh, Pedro Pascal, let's get him
I
in here.
know.
We need Grogu. Let's figure this." I mean, I really enjoyed the premiere of The Mandalorian. It's great to have it back. It's great to sort of dive into and experience a lot of the different worlds we saw. But it is like there's this big glaring issue that they have to take on. But before we take on anything further, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. This is the way to ensure that you do not miss any other
Right.
coverage of this show moving forward. We've also got Survivor, Snowfall, very, very busy Wednesday here at the channel.
Yeah, it's really busy. And yesterday was kind of busy too because it
Yeah,
was my birthday. So, one of the things that I've been asking of you guys for as a gift for me for my birthday is to head over to our Instagram, Matt and Jess TV, and give it a follow. It's something that I've been really wanting to grow. And, thank you to everyone who has gone over and given us a follow. And if you want to do that, I would really appreciate it.
yeah. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
And now, okay,
Okay, let's just get into the Book of Boba Fett of it all
yeah.
because Disney really stepped in it by putting, to me, putting all the Mando and Grogu stuff over there of how they reunited. And I was just like, okay, listen, like I know not a lot of people loved Book of Boba Fett. I thought it was okay. Like it wasn't the greatest. It wasn't terrible. I know some people were like, "Oh, it's just awful." It wasn't awful, but it was just kind of eh. It was
It was
middle of the
bland.
road. Yeah, I understand why they were kind of like, "Okay, maybe this needs to have a little Mando in it or we're not going to be able to get people to watch." But to have almost 3 full episodes of Mando reuniting with Grogu and this whole like the story everybody was waiting for of how did these two get back together? It's not on the actual show. And then in the premiere, there's not even an explanation. There was like a quick little like, yeah, we're back together. Okay, well, how did that happen for the casual fans? Because there are casual fans of this show. This show reaches a much bigger audience than just the hardcore Star Wars people. There's lots of people that watch this show.
Okay, this is what I think they should have done because, we like to be solutions oriented people here, right? Okay, so Book of Boba Fett should have been a 2 hour movie. You could have told the entire story of Boba Fett in something like that. You don't have to put it in theaters, you can still put it on Disney Plus. Then you can do a 2 hour Mandalorian movie that sort of sets the stage for season 3, and you could have put those episodes into something like that. I mean, a good example here is Euphoria did like those standalone like
Mhm.
episodes between season 1 and season, not to conjure the ghost of Sam Levinson at the moment, but and anyway, it's just that they had opportunities and ideas to sort of connect season 2 and season 3 in a way that would have gotten people's eyes on it directly, and to sort of have it just be like, "Hey, Grief Karga, let me give you like a tiny little snippet here of, oh, we're back together now, blah, 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 nothing else bad." They really like did the yada yada treatment for like that, for like Cara Dune. Like, understandably, you don't want to talk about what happened with the actress there, but it's just sort of like, She just went into special forces. We're never going to talk about her again.
Yeah, no, what they really needed to do, because they already did what they did with the Book of Boba Fett. Okay, you did that. Then for Mandalorian, they needed some sort of a either recap at the beginning that included what happened over on the Book of Boba Fett with a disclaimer of some sort of like, if you want to watch more, go over here and watch this. This is where it is. Like, there wasn't even that for people to be like, okay, what happened? How did they get back together? And how can I find out how they got back together? That wasn't even revealed as like a, hey guys, head over here if you want to know what happened. No, you just don't get anything. It was wild. I was really surprised.
That how they handled that to me is the worst part of the premiere. Like the best part, and this is the thing that I think
Pirates.
I
thought that's where you were gonna go right away. Where it was like, listen, there's somebody here waiting for you. They can wait. It's pirates. Oh, okay.
The pirates, tremendous from start to finish. The showdown on the ground, amazing. Showdown in space, also amazing.
Amazing.
I really just love the exploration quality of this show, where it's sort of like you can see multiple different planets every single episode. You can see multiple different, like, I would be happy if this show was basically just sort of like watching Mando be sort of this weird pseudo like nature and culture guide, where you're just like, these are these people, this is where they're from, this is what they do, there's so many different cool aliens. I want to know more about all of them. But I think this episode, you get to see all of these different worlds really, really quickly. They do, they bring back Carl Weathers, they bring back Katie Sackhoff. It's just like they're hitting all of these nostalgia notes, but they're also hitting all these grander sort of universal notes that remind you of like how cool Star Wars can be.
Yeah, and they've set up a few different journeys, because this is really a show of journeys.
Yeah.
And this episode was really good at setting the groundwork of like what's going to be happening here. We know that Mando removed his mask, that he's been basically, you're no longer Mandalorian, you kicked out unless you go to the mines. So we know that he's got this mission where he's like, okay, I need to go to the mines of Mandalore and do this ritual so that I can get back in.
Yeah.
I also now, after he spoke to Bo-Katan, where he's like, I'm going to go there. I'm going to see if what they're saying is true. Is this planet really, poisoned and we can't go back? I'm going to go there and find that out for you. Where she's like, do what you want. I don't care. She's so just like, I don't care anymore. Nothing matters anymore. I'm like, oh, you lost. I get it. It sucks. And then there's everything with IG-11, where it was like, he's a big statue in the middle of town, like this. I'm like, oh, that's so good. But I really like that Mando is now also on this mission where he's like, I need him. I have to have him. So they put together what they have of him, and he's turned into like Terminator 2. All of a sudden they're like, ooh, okay, we're missing a part. We need to get this other part so that he doesn't act like this. But he's also on a journey to get this part, because if he doesn't have IG-11, he doesn't think he can get into the mines. It's all coming together, but they've laid it out. He's got all these different things that are all going on at the same time, on top of pirates.
It's this show really does. I think they managed to include comedy, and I think some really fun ways. Like the first shootout with the pirates was just very comical. The whole scene of Mando like at the droid repair shop, where he's just like barely fitting into the room, like that was just really, really funny. But I think the whole
Grogu hugging the mechanics.
It's like, he's young. It's like, all of that is just...
And the mechanics being like, baby, no.
All of that was just so
The humor
so funny.
was so good.
Yeah. If I'm sort of project here of like a little bit as to where I think some of this is going, is just that I think a lot of this show is about who am I? What do I really identify as? And I could easily see eventually, Mando's going to get down to his home planet, and he's going to realize that nothing is exactly as he was told, as he's going to, as things have been said, and he's going to really start to question everything. Like, am I really tainted? Am I really, bad? Is Bo-Katan right with some of these things? She may not be right about everything, but is she right about some things? Also, I'm sure Pedro somewhere is behind the scenes being like, do I have to continue to wear this helmet all the time? They let me breathe on The Last of Us. I
I
can
know.
actually, move my head around and see what I'm doing.
Which is another show
Yep.
that we do cover here at the channel. So if you're watching that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Speaking of Bo-Katan, I think we're going to still see a lot more of her because, like, as you said, there's this journey that's going on with people where they don't know who they are or where they fit in, sort of thing. And I think once Mando goes back to Mandalore and he ends up finding out that the planet probably isn't exactly what everyone's been saying it is, I think she's going to be brought more into that journey where she's then also going to sort of find her own footing.
That I love Bo-Katan. I would be down to have a lot more of her this season. I even just love the way that they shot her return. She's just sitting. It reminded me a lot, and I'd say this is what's like a Skyrim player when you go into all the different long houses where the Jarls
Yeah, and
are.
the Jarls are always lounging in their chair, like they
She's just-
don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just lounging. And I get it. She's in her feelings. Vanna's got the dark saber. He doesn't even seem all that psyched about it. He's just like, yeah, I got it. And she's just like, that thing cost me everything.
I know.
I think this episode, it's very foundational. I think there's always going to be people with this show in particular that are like, why isn't there more plot moving things forward week after week, especially after, a show like Andor, which was very plot centric for a lot of it. And it's just like, I'm fine with The Mandalorian being a little bit sort of breezy, allowing everybody some time to sort of set things up. It's very visual, but it's just also very fun. It just captures, I think, a lot of what made us fall in love with Star Wars in the first place.
Yeah, I think that it's nice that there is one of the Star Wars shows that is open for everyone, that not everything has to be so deep into the mythology of Star Wars in a way that casuals cannot enjoy the show. This show is for everyone. And, Star Wars, the original movies were for everyone as well. And so I really like the way that they've continued on with this show where, it's not that complex, but there is still a lot to talk about. We've got Mando on a few different journeys right now, and they've laid the groundwork really well in this premiere for that. IG-11, come on back,
I know
man.
we need IG-11. That'll be a nice. Someday there's just going to be a list in my head of the top random droids. We all know R2, but we've got IG-11. We've got that loader droid from Obi-Wan, who is still my best friend.
We got that poor droid that's on the back of the cloak going down the stairs.
Okay.
Boop, 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 boop.
Why is there always just some weird gigantic creature buried underneath something in Star Wars? This time it's
man.
a monster in the ocean.
That fight was incredible. It was so good.
It's a fun way to start this off. It's a fun way to start off this season. But of course, let us know in the comments, where do you guys think the Mandalorian and this story is going? What is Mando going to realize? Hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram at Mad and Jess TV, and we will see you here next time.